25 pounds. Would you stand up? Wow. How about 25 to 50 pounds? 50 to 75. 75 to 100. 100 pounds or more. I always like to say that's a clue. That we have, how many of you believe that we have products that provide results that you can't find anywhere else? And how many of you believe more in the profession of network marketing as a result of Trudy's incredible presentation this morning? Actually, all the presenters did such an amazing job. Emily, every time I see you, you know, it's just so great to see the way you're growing as a person, as an individual, and the gift that you have that resonates with everybody. It's great. And Marla, my God, that's the first time I've seen you on stage. You were incredible. Thank you so much. And Lindsay. Yeah, Corey's all right too. We are so blessed to have partners like this in our lives. Would you agree? Well, you know, belief is important. And I would just say that my role up here today is to help you understand and increase your belief in the power of our compensation plan. And what I will say is that the presentation I'm going to be giving is not what I expect you to give. We have actually created a video where you'll see, in essence, much of what I'm going to be sharing with you today. The presentation that follows mine is the one that you want to get really good at mastering, because that's where people can understand what's in it for them right from the get-go. But I'm viewing everyone in this room as our future business builders, even though some of you may not see yourself there yet. But I want you to understand the power of the plan that we have and the way it was designed. It didn't happen by accident. How many of you in this room believe that everything you do in life kind of prepares you for the next chapter? Yeah. Would it be all right if I told you a little bit about my background or story? I won't admit how old I am, but you can probably gather from the story. But I actually began my career, I got out of high school very young. I had just turned 16. And the Vietnam War was going on, and I was too young to join the service. My parents were not financially well off. I had an older brother that they were trying to put through college. I knew they couldn't afford to send both of us to school. So I made a decision, and I wanted to set out on my own. And at the time, I fell in love with the sport of bodybuilding. And I think part of the reason is because I was so young. When I was going through high school, everybody was like 2 years older than me. So I think I was 117 pounds when I was a senior in high school. And good thing I played tennis, because I would have got killed in football. But you know what? I always wanted to take control of the way I looked. And I tried to eat. I ate 8,000 calories a day, and I couldn't gain weight. And I got turned on to a friend of mine, took me to the gym one day, and I started working out. And I just got obsessed. And because what I learned, everything we do, we kind of learn from. And my experience in bodybuilding was that if you're willing to put in the work, you could actually control the result. And that was liberating for me. Because, school, when you're growing up, you don't know quite what you're going to do when you grow up or whatever. But I had found something. I thought, I just love this. I'm going to put in the work. And so I became kind of like a fanatic back then. And bodybuilding back then, you were lucky to find a gym in a community, let alone in every hotel. And so it really was at kind of the pioneering days. And I was looking for actually an opportunity to just be able to make enough money so I could work out whenever I wanted to. And so one of my workout partners actually was a barber. Actually a former Mr. America, but he was a barber. And he was kind of pursuing that as a profession. He said, well, Jim, why don't you go to barber school and do this? So I did. But the timing was good because it was right at the beginning of when men's hairstyling was starting. And what was, I guess, the lesson I learned from that was that in cutting hair, you have two hands, they can only work so fast. And I knew within 10 days that my income level was not going to be where I wanted it to be in life. And so I recognized that if I was going to actually make money in this profession, I needed to teach other people how they could make money in this profession. And because men's hairstyling was just starting, it was kind of an opportunity for me to show people where if they were used to collecting, back then it was like $225 for a haircut. I am dating myself, right? At $175 for kids. But all of a sudden, with hairstyling, I was able to up the spend, if you will, of a customer to like $6. And I was able to sell products behind that. And so because of that, I was able to change the model. And I could teach other people in that profession how to do the same thing. So, you know, I was in my 20s, I had 7 shops, and I retired the first time at 22. And I took 7 months off, went to Hawaii, and I came back, and it was, I'll never forget, because I had lunch, one of my customers, his parents were one of the real pioneers in the whole, what I would call, fitness revolution. And they had seen what I had done in terms of growing my locations, and obviously they appreciated that I knew the importance of exercise and things of that nature. And so they asked me to come and join them in growing. They had a chain of women's fitness clubs. And as a 23-year-old guy, when they said women's fitness clubs, I said, I'm in. And so we grew that to, I think we had around 53 locations. And what I learned through that experience was how amazing women were. You know, what a work ethic they had, that, you know, they didn't seem to carry the same baggage that a lot of guys did in terms of having a purpose, whether it was to provide for their kids or their family or whatever. But that was really made an impact on me. And so I said, I want to always be able to work with women. And so what happened is that we got to the point in our evolution where we recognized that we had kind of grown as much as we could within the model that we had. In other words, if our model was you have to have a 10,000-foot location and you have to have X number of staff and so forth, that became a burden. So our idea was, well, there's a lot of people that could benefit from exercise that can't come to one of our facilities. Let's create exercise programs that people can actually do in their own home, and we'll sell it mail order. And we did, and we were very successful at it. And I was given an opportunity to go to Europe, and they gave me like a $2 million budget and said, go make it happen. You know, so I spent 8 years in Europe. And what I learned from that experience was the power of marketing, but also the power of logistics, because of our success, we had probably on the order of 6,000 orders a day. And so we learned how to deal with the logistics associated with supporting that type of delivery. So again, something that I learned that prepared me for this experience with Isagenix. When I came back to the States, they said, Jim, we need to actually get more involved in nutrition, because exercise is good, but you are what you eat. And so, you know, let's start working with doctors in the field of obesity to find out what they're doing, and whether, with our marketing expertise and so forth, whether we can actually do something better that could serve a wider audience. And we collaborated with some doctors in England, and we developed a program. It was really the forerunner of the isolene shake. It was called the Cambridge Diet. And your parents might be of the age where they remember it. But I was tasked with the idea, because it was a mail order product, we need to come up with an alternative method of distribution. And what I recognized was that, you know, if you're asking people to go on a lifestyle change program, and think about what we do. We're asking people to change their lifestyle, right? That most people lack the discipline to do that on their own. Mm-hmm. You know, we all know that exercise is good. We all know you can do it at your home. But the reason people go to gyms is because they want to be in an environment where people kind of have a similar goal, similar aspirations. And so I thought, you know, it just makes sense. If we could combine a lifestyle program with a coaching system, that would really enable more people to enjoy success otherwise. And I grew up in Northern California, and that's where some of the pioneering companies in this profession were. Companies like Shackley, companies like Holiday Magic, Bestline. I mean, some of them are still around, most of them are not. But they were always trying to recruit me because I was entrepreneurial. I didn't get involved with it, but I was very interested in the business model. And so I said, you know, I'm going to learn more about this network marketing profession. And so I joined Amway, and I joined some of the others. I didn't join Mary Kay. I came close. But I didn't, not to really build the business, but mainly to understand the dynamics of how it worked. Mm-hmm. And so I came back and I created a compensation plan that was designed to reward people for their participation in selling our products. And we launched that company in 1980. And in 23 months, we'd done $1 billion in sales. With a lousy compensation plan. Wow. You know, that compensation plan actually is being used today, minor modifications, by one of the most successful companies in our industry. And I'm not proud of that because it's a dinosaur. You heard Kathy's story. It took me 8 years of me being in this profession of finally convincing her to, you know, get involved. And obviously, you know, she really grew and is just such an amazing example of what is possible if you have the right vehicle. And she just needed the right vehicle in her life. But I saw her rise to the top of a company only to have that company sell itself and see her income, you know, erode and disappear. And it was a very difficult compensation plan. You know, some of the compensation plans out there, historically, some of the biggest companies today still have those. But they're called stair-step breakaway plans. And the way it works is that, you know, you get involved, you buy your products, buy your products from the company, and essentially, as you raise in rank, you get a slightly higher discount on the products you're buying, thereby increasing the spread of what you can enjoy and profit from wholesale to resale. And they encourage you to build a team. The problem is you build a team, and those people, if they're successful, they break away from you. Now, those of you who are building teams here appreciate that to find team members that actually want to lock arms with you and build, and you're invested in their success, and only to see them break away, you know, that actually is kind of a disincentive. And so, I saw Kathy nevertheless build, you know, I think 10 legs, each doing almost $100,000 in volume for her to rise to the top of that compensation plan. When that company was sold, she got involved in another company, and it had more of a unilevel type plan. And that's where, you know, as a leader, as you sponsor people and they sponsor people and sponsor people, they pay you X number of levels deep. So as you rise in rank, you get paid another level and so forth. But even the most generous of those plans only pay usually about 7 levels deep. So what happens is as an organization matures, you know, and people start to get deeper and deeper in your organization, you find an interesting dynamic where if I'm only paid 7 levels deep, for example, and some, rock star shows up on my 8th level, all of a sudden there's not the same incentive for me to work with that individual as if they were in my pay line, as an example. And so, I just saw how demotivating that can be. In fact, I saw where people would say, well, if I could only get some of the people in the 4th or 5th level to drop out of the business, those people would roll up closer to me, So it's almost like, how can I sabotage some people in my organization to gain access to people that are deeper in the program? So what I'm going to share with you, again, comes from a lot of experience, over 25 years of experience in the profession of watching what works and what doesn't work. And so when we sat around that table and we said, okay, we're going to create a company that's going to be here for the long term. And we each recognized that we had unique talents to make that happen. John focusing on the products and the manufacturing, Kathy on identifying the leadership. My role was really to say, I'm going to help build the infrastructure of this company. And more importantly, I'm going to build a compensation plan that is as dynamic as our products are. Something that will produce results that you can't find anywhere else. So that's what I'm going to share with you today. And so, how many of you right now feel more comfortable sharing the products than you do sharing the compensation plan? Yeah, I'm sure. And this probably comes down to belief, because most of you, as we saw, have a product experience. And so you're able to share your passion around that experience. But most of you in this room don't have the money story that you really want yet. And so that's probably holding you back, because you're afraid of that question that's going to come, well, if it's so great, how much money are you making, right? And so what I will tell you is get over that. Our plan works.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
Right? Woo! And you have partners that can prove it, right? Mm-hmm. So, I just got involved with this business, and I'm not making the income I want yet. But let me introduce you to some of my team members who are. That's the power of what we have, because what we're building is a team. Kathy and I recognized when we started this company, we had a big vision. I mean, to impact world health and to grow to become the largest health and wellness company in the world. Would you agree that's a big vision?
Big vision. Woo!
Well, there was 3 of us at the time. Matt and John was involved. We weren't going to do it by ourselves. We knew that the only way we could be successful is if we could empower other people to join on this journey with us and to support them in being successful. And so, what is true of all compensation plans, we all know that, at least here in the United States, there's 100 cents in a dollar, right? Yep. And ultimately, a company can't give all 100 cents away, or it's going to go broke. It has to have, money to be able to invest in the cost of goods, the products themselves. It has to have money to invest in the infrastructure, and it has to have money to reward the distributors who are going to assist in getting the products and services out into the marketplace. So the task in a compensation plan is to say, of that remaining, percentage, and it's roughly it's over 40%, right? Between 40 and 45%. What of that money is available, and how are we going to divide that up and incent the right behaviors? So that's the task that I actually began with. And so in starting the compensation plan, some of you know these terms, some of you may be brand new, but you should understand a couple of key terms. It's on the, I guess I should do my disclaimer thing here. All right, it doesn't have a backward switch, so I won't worry about it. No, I will worry about it. 'Cause it's important that we recognize this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This takes real work. Mm-hmm. And we need to treat it as a business, because it is a business. Right. And so, the incomes that are possible in Isagenix are really whatever you want to make it. But it does come down to how much time are you going to invest, how successful are you going to be in helping and empowering other people to achieve that? And so we do have an income disclaimer that is on our website that people can go and find information. So I guess the key is, and some of us have seen that there are a lot of companies that's all about the opportunity because they don't have the products that necessarily support a long-term vision. So they go out and overhype an opportunity. And of course we know what happens to those companies. They go up and they go down probably even faster. Is there anybody in this room that's been in one of those companies? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So what we have here is real. So I'll go on to the key terms. The first was BV I mentioned. And that has to do with, it's a point value that we assign to every commissionable product. The next thing is PV. That means that's the personal volume that you order from the company each 30-day period. We kind of keep track of that with our computer. The other thing, key terms, is what we call auto-ship rewards. Actually, it's loyalty rewards right now. And this is fundamental because obviously what we all want, would you agree, is residual income? Yes. Well, residual income obviously means that you have people buying, using, and reordering your products. And the nice thing about having a recurring income stream and a recurring order program like we have with loyalty rewards is that it allows you to, focus on bringing new people in. You can support the people, but you know that volume is going to be happening on kind of a recurring basis. Personally enrolled, obviously, those are the people that you personally bring in the business, whether it be customers or people that go on to become associates. And the team placement tree, which I'll go into more detail, that's the way we keep track and you keep track of your team. So everybody that comes into Isagenix, starts with a position. There's steps to success, what I'll share here. The positions we have are associate, consultant, manager, director, executive, and platinum, and I'll go into detail on those. There's 5 ways to make money: retail profits, product introduction bonuses, team bonuses, executive match, and promotions and incentives. We'll go through details of those as well. Everybody starts, I mentioned, as a customer. And one of the ways, once you become an associate, that you earn profit is what we call retail profit. So you're able to buy your products from us at wholesale prices. And those of you that choose to actually, have an inventory of products and sell those to your customers, that's one method of earning profit in Isagenix. Another thing, obviously, we give you all a website when you join Isagenix. And if people actually go to your website and order a product at retail prices, you actually earn the spread between the wholesale price and the retail less a small handling charge. So that's one way of making profit. So here's an example that if someone comes in, let's say, as a new customer, they buy a 30-day system, you're making profit on that system. The other thing we have is what's called a product introduction bonus. Because frankly, I would say we have more people buying wholesale than we do buying retail. And because if you think about it, how many of you believe that as a consumer yourself, that you'd rather buy at a discount than pay full retail, right? Mm-hmm. So that's one of the advantages we have as we're speaking to our potential prospects of, why would you buy your products on Amazon and pay retail or something for when you can buy it from me and I can show you how to get it at wholesale? Or, if you're going to be on these products long term, doesn't it make more sense for you to open an account with Isagenix so you can enjoy the same benefit I have of buying your products at wholesale? Now, what we do to reward you as an associate, when someone you initially bring on board and enroll, when they buy their initial order, if they're in packs, you earn a product introduction bonus. And I saw the hands earlier of all of those of you who know what a product introduction bonus is. Nice. Do you like those?
Yeah. Woo!
Thank you.
And I bet you like the doubles even better, right?
Thank you.
Okay, so our product introduction bonuses depends on the pack configuration that people start with. Obviously, if people come in with our value pack, or that earns $100 product introduction bonus. If they come in with a 30-day, that earns a $25 product introduction bonus, and so forth. But the concept behind the double product introduction bonus was to really, again, create an incentive that could be a win-win. Because I've always believed that a good deal is when both parties make out, right? Mm-hmm. So if you can actually introduce your customers where they're actually getting their products at a wholesale price, and you can introduce the concept of your customers joining you and getting their products paid for, or at least having part of the costs offset, by starting to identify and share these products with their own friends, it just makes sense. I always think one of the best questions you could ask when you start a new customer, and they say yes, is who are you going to do this with? If you could start to open their minds to the fact that, yes, you're going to be their coach, but if they can actually surround themselves with other people that maybe they come in contact with on a regular basis, even family members, because what we know is that people are either going to be supportive or they're going to be saboteurs, right? I mean, how many of you have gone on a program and said, I'm going to do this program, but I'm not going to tell anybody, and the next thing you do, you're on a cleanse day and somebody's asking you out for lunch, right? Probably had it happen. But if all of a sudden you let people know, and give permission for people to say, hey, I'm just starting a program. I've tried a lot of things in the past, maybe you have as well, but I've seen results of what this program can produce, and so I've committed to do this. Are you open to the possibility of maybe doing it with me? Start that, let people have permission to have those conversations. Here's the incentive for you. Obviously, if you bring on a new customer, and you bring on a second or third or fourth in the same calendar week, we actually double the product introduction bonus that you would have earned otherwise. So as an example, if you had a value pack, they come on board, and you have a product introduction bonus. Let's say that they came on, they bought a value pack, you earned $100. If in that same week, you introduce someone else, and they come on with a value pack, you earn another $100, but we actually double both of those. Yeah? So it's already the same. And it works with whatever pack you have. So for example, if you brought on someone with a value pack, and the next person you brought on, they came on with a 30-day, we double it. $25 for the 30-day, and we double the $100 for the value pack. And there's no limit. We have people who've brought in 6, 8, 10 people in a week. So they're getting doubles on all of those. Is that a good thing? Yes. And this is really our concept of, for a compensation plan to really work, wouldn't you agree that it helps to have instant gratification? Yes. It's the same with our products produce that. How many of you within 4 days knew this product was different than anything you'd taken before, right? That's instant gratification. Well, I wanted to create the same thing in the compensation plan. So that people are actually saying, I'm going to do this business, and I've seen that, okay, hey, I've earned a check. I can't tell you how many calls I've gotten from people so excited because their first check was $7.50. Jimmy Smith, our #1 money earner of all time, he called me. He said, Jim, we're on our way. And back then, our PIB, we didn't have a double PIB. We had a PIB on one pack, and it was $10. And we took a carrying charge on that, so his net commission was $7.50, and he was excited. But again, having the double PIB is an important thing, because one of the keys, in fact, Lynn Hagedorn, I remember she shared this at a training, the key to success is get yourself paid and get your people paid. Yes. Right. So that should be one of your goals. Every time you have a new customer, think about that person as someone that you want to be with you long term, either as a customer or maybe join you in the business. But if you can show that customer how to get their products offset the cost of products, guess what? Their retention level is going to be like 95%. That's what our data is showing. Okay, the first position in Isagenix, past associate. In other words, once you choose to become an associate, in fact, I'm going to give you a little hint of something that's coming. I think it's this week. Right now, everybody starts as a customer, right? Customer first. And in order to switch to become an associate, they have to elect to then, provide some additional information, their tax ID number, and agree to the policies and procedures. And they have to watch a movie, right?
Right.
Well, I think starting next week, we're going to move the movie after they've actually joined. So that's no longer going to be a requirement as in the sign-up process. Good thing? Yeah. All right. We're looking for ways to remove the friction in the sign-up process. Okay, so people have joined you as a customer. They get a position in the tree, in your organization. So they have their own position, and they have the ability to build their own team, but they have a position within your genealogy. Your goal is to help that individual grow in the plan to become what we call a consultant. And a consultant is having personally enrolled a minimum of 2 people who are also active in the business. So in order to be considered active, you have to have 100 PV in purchases. PV is personal volume, right? Those are purchases that you're making from Isagenix or that are being made on your web page by retail customers ordering through your page. Both of those count. Now, one of the other things we did in our plan is that we allow you to accumulate volume, both for you, but also for your organization. So what happens is that to be a consultant, you want to have one person on your left team and one person on your right team. And as long as they're doing at least 100 BV, they're considered active. And if that happens all at the same time, we consider you a consultant, and immediately you qualify for a bonus. And that bonus is a consultant bonus of $50. You also have the opportunity to earn 100 on each personally enrolled consultant up to 20. So as you continue to develop consultants within your group, which should be one of your goals, is that every time you do for your first 20, we're going to give you an extra $100 on those people. But the biggest benefit is that you open up the possibility now of earning what we call team bonuses or cycles. How many of you want to be professional cyclists? Woo! I learned that from Jimmy Smith. We were watch shopping in Puerto Rico one time, and he was talking to the clerk, and they pulled out a Rolex. He goes, "Oh, that's nice." He goes, "How much is that?" She said, $13,000. He goes, "Oh, that's X number of cycles." "Show me that one over there." And well, she showed him that one. "Well, that's X number of cycles." The gal says, "What do you do?" He says, "I'm a professional cyclist." He says, "I cycle in the morning, I cycle at night, I even cycle when I'm sleeping." So, how many of you want to be professional cyclists? Okay. I'm going to spend a little time on this slide because this is the real power of our compensation plan. I watched Kathy build, as I mentioned, 10 legs in her first company, and I think how many legs? 9 in her second company. In her third company, it was actually that she had to build 3 legs. And how many of you agree it would be easier to build 3 legs than 10 legs? But God gave us 2 legs. We thought it would even be better if we had to just build 2 legs, right? Woo! So our plan, it's called a binary compensation plan. 2 teams. And you have a left team and a right team. So in this picture, you can see you centered in the blue there. And the first person you bring in is going to go on your left team. Next person you bring in, ideally, is going to go on your right team. And by the way, the computer will automatically place that person in the next available spot where it thinks you're going to be able to generate the greatest amount of commission. So our goal is to get you qualified as a consultant as quickly as possible. But as you continue to build your organization, everybody that you bring in has the same opportunity as you do, right? They have a position, they can build a left team and a right team, and your goal is to help them do that. So the consultant position, we always say, you share. And then the next position, manager, is you share, they share. And so in this example, what you're seeing here on the left team and the right team is the people in green, let's say, are people that you've personally enrolled. And the people in purple are the ones that have been enrolled by members of your team. You can see there's a line down the middle from you. And so what that's really saying, that building on each of your team, no matter how big your organization grows, whatever stems from those first people that you brought in on that team, everything that occurs thereafter is either going to be on your left team or your right team. And the beauty of that is that this is what really separates us from the other plans I was mentioning, because we actually allow you to earn on infinite depth. So no matter how large those organizations grow to become. Now, would you agree that, let's take that person, I'm facing the opposite way of you, but let's say on the left team there, and you take that person in the purple all the way down to the bottom of that outside leg. If they order a product, would you agree that it benefits the person immediately above them? And the person immediately above them? The person immediately above them, as well as you? So would you agree that there's an incentive for everyone in that lineage to support the success of the person that's down there? And I will tell you that you need to mobilize your teams. Because if let's say that you're building your teams and you're saying, Mary, I'm going to place somebody, I'm sponsoring someone new, but I'm placing them, under you. And let's do a call, because I want to introduce you to Sally. She's the newest member of our team. And let's say Mary may not even be an associate. She may just be a customer. But maybe she's a customer that's lost 25 pounds. Mary, let me introduce you to Sally. Sally, has a goal to lose 15 pounds. Mary, I know you've lost 35. I've committed my support to help Mary. Would you be willing to support her as well? So what I'm sharing here is mobilize your team, because in doing so, even if they're just customers, they'll start to get a sense of the gratitude that comes from seeing other people and playing a role in other people's transformation. And that could be sometimes the missing link for some people. Because a lot of times, the thing that holds people back from joining your team is these 4 words. The most important thing that people need to feel when they see you doing a product presentation or doing an opportunity presentation, they need to say, I can do that. Right? That's the biggest barrier that you'll have to overcome, whether you're presenting the products, but particularly the opportunity. What holds most people back is they're thinking, that's great, but I'm too busy, or she's more polished than I am. Maybe I'm not even succeeding in my own business. Why do I want to take on something that is brand new to me? So our goal is always to keep in mind that we need to guide people to the confidence of them being able to say, I can do that, right? So by mobilizing your team, I'm suggesting that's one of the ways that you can start to identify and empower people who are going to say, I can do that. That was actually fun. I actually feel that I've played a role in Sally's success because she's now gone on to lose X. And so you as a leader can say, I know if I put people under such and such, that I can count on them to be able to give some support, which is what you want. It's a win-win situation. So you all kind of understand how the structure works right now. Okay? So, how do you build your teams? What you want to do is you want to create a duplicatable model. Some of you may be very good at recruiting. Some of you may be better at coaching. Some of you may be better at just giving your testimony. But in building a team, it's all right to have diversity. You want diversity. You know, if you think about a football team has a quarterback, yes, but, you know, they have a quarterback who be sunk without linemen, right? And without anybody to pass the ball to, you know, he's not, all he's going to be able to do is be a rusher. So think of your business the same way. As you're building your team, you want to be looking for who are the people that have skills that maybe I don't have, or are good at doing things I don't even like to do. So the beauty of being able to pick our own teams and pick the people that we want to have, that we spend time with and invest time with, is that we have some control over that. How many of you played sports in high school? I remember, well, actually, going back even earlier, in grammar school, I remember they used to have recess back then. I don't even know if they have recess anymore. You know, kids are on the computers or something like that. But, you know, I couldn't wait. I was good at recess. That was my best score. But I loved it because, let's say if it was softball season, you know, you'd go out, okay, Jim, today it's your turn to be captain. And what'd you do? As a captain, you know, you got to pick, and then the next captain got to pick. And, you know, you knew from experience, hey, I'm looking for winners. I know this guy can hit. I know this guy can catch. I know this guy can pitch. Let's keep it simple, guys. This is the same thing. That's what we do. We're talent scouts, and we're coaches, but we're really looking to support our team, because that's what it's all about. And so this building our teams is you want to build your outside legs, and you want to teach people to do the same thing. So I'm often asked by people, well, where should I place this person? Well, you have a minor team leg and a major team leg. And the only thing that defines the difference between a major or minor, and it may just be that week, is how much volume is in one. The leg that has the most volume is a major league team. The one that has the less volume is a minor league team. So typically, again, the computer, even if you didn't select where you wanted them to go, it would automatically place them on the minor league team, because that's where the volume needs to go. So we're really kind of taking some of the guesswork out as you get involved. But what you want to do is you want to teach yourself and teach your people to build on the outside teams. You don't want to be sponsoring, let's say you brought in your mom and you said, okay, Mom, we're going to help you build. Well, you could help your mom build by putting people on their outside leg, but your mom has to take responsibility for putting people on the inside leg. Now, you can help your mom do presentations, and you can do all that other kind of stuff, but in terms of physically placing people, I guess what I'm saying is, don't give up your enrollments. You know? Because you don't know that they're going to get support from the person that you might feel like you're gifting that person to. So build your outside legs and teach your people to do the same thing. Now, the beauty of this is that here's where the team bonus comes in. The way our compensation plan works is as soon as you develop 600 BV, total points on one team, and 300 BV on another team, it's called a cycle. Everybody go ka-ching.
Ka-ching.
It means you just got paid. I've talked to our IT department about putting something so when every time it cycles, your phone would go off.
Woo!
Like ka-ching.
Woo! Woo! Woo!
Some of you in this room would be like having a vibrator in your pocket. You know? That may not be a bad thing, right? So anyway, back to business. But here's one of the key things on our plan, is that once you cycle, and what's unique about our plan is we actually allow you, as long as you're active, to to hold over volume, any volume that's left over in that leg. So let's say in this example there was a 1,000 BV in your major volume leg, in this case left team, and your right team there was 350. So what happens is you cycled, the computer automatically subtracts the 600 BV and the 300 BV, but it leaves the rest. So again, the beauty of that, and this is where you're in control, is as long as you're active, you know, you control your own destiny. As long as you're active, you're eligible to the holdover volume and to accumulate volume. And you can earn up to 250 cycles in a week. Now, a cycle is $54, so that's like $13,500 a week. How many of you could get by on $13,500 a week? How many of you would like more? Well, we'll show you how to get more. So, again, in the example I'm giving here is that the holdover volume in that example was 400, and the holdover was 50 on the other side. And you generated a cycle. Now, obviously what you want to do is continue to grow in rank, and we've created incentives for you to do that through our rank advancement bonuses. So a manager is, as soon as you have a consultant, one on your left, one on your right, if you can help those people to become consultants themselves, you qualify as a manager. And a manager, how many managers in the room? Let me just say, congratulations, on your way. So it's duplication, right? You're actually identifying the people in your organization that are going to grow with you. The next position beyond that is director. Oh, and by the way, as a manager, if you do it within your first 60 days, you become a crystal manager and earn an extra $250. Who's a crystal manager in this room? Good for you? Great. Good. So again, we're incenting to take action quickly. Because I will just say you can build it fast, you can build it slow. Personally, I think building fast makes sense. So that's the reason we're giving you almost, more incentive to be able to take action quicker. I think I skipped ahead. Director was actually, once you have 6 consultants that you've personally enrolled and helped to get to consultant, you qualify as a director. We have directors in the room? Yes? All right, make some noise. All right. And again, it's a stepping stone, and we give you a $750 bonus when you actually achieve director. Again, that's on type of cycles, on top of PIBs, and all this other stuff. Executive, obviously, is one of our positions that you should all be striving to qualify. Who's here sees themselves as an executive? All right, good. We want you all to be executive or above. And that means you've personally enrolled 10 people. Now, at the executive position, we want you to have some balance in your organization. So where it's director and manager, you can have, everybody coming in on, you could have 5 consultants on one side and 1 on the other, and you're still a director. But at executive, we want you to have at least 5 and 5. Because as you'll see, it creates stability in your organization as it starts to mature. So I know that we have a tool that looks very much like this probably in your workbook, that actually shows the tree and the positions. And you should really view that next to your vision board as one of your most important tools if you see yourself moving to executive. Because it's really a guideline. You can even fill in names and say, right now you could almost fill in the names before you even talk to the people. In other words, this is a team I would love to have on my organization. Because I know this person would be dynamic, I know they're an influencer, and those are the people that I think will get you over the chicken list about, do I really want to call this person? Because I will tell you, the most frustrating thing that you'll ever experience is when you come to a meeting like this, and someone that was on your chicken list you see sitting in a seat because someone else wasn't chicken to talk to. So get over it. Really, share this gift with everybody. They may say no now, but guess what? If someone approaches them later, they'll say, you know, I have a friend that was talking to any of the pools that we have. In fact, we have a director's pool as well, I neglected to mention. But that is one of the other reasons why you want to advance and rank in those. But one of the things that we decided early on is that, is there anybody in this room, as I've shared this presentation and you saw the tree, that you thought to yourself, how can the company afford to pay all those levels down, infinite volume? Have anybody received that question from someone that maybe you've tried to present the opportunity to? Well, let me put your mind at rest. I was smart enough to know when I created this plan that I needed to know, as the program matured, was there going to be enough money to create stability in the plan? And so I went to actually, how many of you recognize that insurance companies are successful enterprises? Yeah. How many of you have insurance? Yeah. Okay, well think about it this way. Our plan works much the same way. With an insurance company, we all pay premiums into the insurance company, whether it's quarterly, annually, whatever. And the insurance company collects that money. The insurance company pays claims, but what's true is not all claims happen simultaneously. I mean, there may be a hurricane or disaster where there's more in a given time than there is others, but generally, there's some predictability associated with the payout. And insurance companies employ people that are called actuaries. And it's their job to actually chart out and calculate, you know, based on the number of people we have and the policies we have, you know, is there going to be enough money that we're collecting that can allow us to pay out, still be a viable company. And so I went to actuaries and I said, here's what I'm planning to do. You know, tell me how I can preserve this opportunity. And essentially, what we have is a plan that now 17 years old. We've not had to change our compensation plan, with the exception to add more money to it. And it's because it works under similar principles. So for example, you know, just because, let's say someone comes in that bottom of that tree and places, you know, a $1,000 order even. And it triggered, that $1,000 order populates all the way up that tree. But the reality is that not everybody is having a perfect 600, 300 at the same time. So that's the thing that creates an opportunity for us to predict very accurately now in terms of what our payout is going to be. And my goal was to create something that you could count on. Historically, before we created this plan, one of the rubs on binaries is they had what's called cycle creep. It means that over time, the cycle value, let's say if it's $54, will all of a sudden be $36 or $12. That wouldn't be motivating. So I wanted to know that, you know, we created something that you could count on. And I'm happy to say that the plan has worked. One of the other safeguards is that when I asked the people, how could we protect the opportunity long term? They said, well, you could create more legs to the company. And I said, well, I don't want to compete with my distributors. And they said, well, then that's what it is. So I said, well, who better to create more legs to the company than people who had proved themselves to be successful organizational builders? So that's when we decided to create this platinum position, which says that when you do 250 cycles in a week, you've proved yourself to be a builder. And what we want to do is we want to give you an incentive not to go into retirement because you're capped out, but rather to help us identify, you know, and create more stability in our comp plan. And the way we can do that is we're going to reward you with a re-entry position. And that re-entry position means that, you remember the tree, 2 legs? Mm-hmm. Well, everything that all the volume that you've created that generated 250 cycles for you out of the 2 legs, guess what? The re-entry position we put in is above you. It doesn't negatively affect your sponsor. It doesn't take anything away from anybody. But what it does for you, but what it means for you is that now, whereas if you think about it, $54 on 900 BV in volume, it's about 6%. Well now, because you've already built one team, for every 300 BV that comes in your re-entry position, that's generating $54, which is like 18%. It's a win-win. And that's the reason we have people that are not only platinums, but double platinums and triple platinums, and God bless you. You know, there's no limit on what you're going to be able to create as we take it to the next level. I mentioned rank advancement bonuses, and rank advancement bonuses essentially is the upfront money that we want to provide. The real money in our plan, frankly, is in the cycles. That's the residual income. But we know as people are building, we want to give them those instant wins. We want to give those carrots to shoot for. And so, as a consultant, again, you got $50. As a crystal manager, you got $250. 5-cycle bonus. Once you hit 5 cycles your first time, there's a $500 bonus. A 1-star bonus is 10 cycles. There's another $1,000. Crystal director, $750. 2-star bonus, 20 cycles. That's another $2,000. Crystal executive, another $1,000. 3-star, $3,000. So knowing that $100 for every 20 consultants, $2,000. So there's $10,000 on your ride in building your organization. Is that a good thing?
Good thing.
Right. And we'll go into some more of that detail tomorrow. But to me, I think it comes down to knowing what you're worth. And we created this opportunity not to put limits on what your future could be. We want you to have it all, believe me. I mean, I know Kathy was in companies when they got mad when she made money. Initially when we used to send out checks, we used to send out smiley faces on the checks because we want you to make money, believe me. But we want you to also know that you've got a vehicle that has unlimited potential. And this is a slide I think that's kind of, eye-opening sometimes. School teacher makes about the equivalent of around 10 cycles a week, $28,000 a year. And I know there's some of you in this room who are thinking, anybody in this room thinking, gosh, I'm only cycling once a week or, once a month even. Anybody? Yes? Well, the reality is residual income is a powerful thing. And just to show you how powerful it is, here's the chart. It's probably hard to read from where you are. But to give you an example, if you're cycling one time a week, that's a $2,800 a year annual income. And in order to earn that type of residual income in a bank account, paying 3%, and most of them are paying about 1.5% right now, you'd have to have $93,000 in the bank. A person is cycling 100 times a week. That's $280,000 a year. You'd have to have almost $10 million in the bank at 3% interest, earning you that kind of income. So when I talk about the possibility of providing an income to support the lifestyle you want when you retire, believe me, you're building an asset here that I say it's the gift that keeps on giving. So by investing your energy, your time in the people that you care about right now and empowering those people to do the same thing, guess what? You can have it all. So who wants it all? A couple of final things. We pay weekly, which is a good thing because when you're starting your business, you want cash flow. We pay 1 week in arrears, so Sunday midnight to Sunday midnight basically is the way our weeks work, and that's on East Coast time. So at 9 o'clock Sunday night here on the West Coast is when we close out, for the week. But what we do is we accumulate all the records for that over the next succeeding week, and we pay you the following Monday. How many of you love Monday mornings? In 17 years, we've never missed a Monday morning.
Right.
you're able to track your volume in the back office, and as I shared what our commission week is. Summary is that to enjoy the full benefits of our compensation plan, it really comes down to you want to be a product of the product, right? I mean, that's the foundation of everything we have. You want to focus on developing your team. Ideally, you want to have everybody on our loyalty rewards program, and you want to teach your team to do the same thing. You love it?
Yes. Love it. Woo!
Well, I just want to say that it's how grateful I personally am that you are all part of our Isagenix family.
Aww.
We are on a great journey together. And, you know, if you look at the world right now, it's a troubling place. You know, I mean, if you look at healthcare even, I mean, healthcare is bankrupting this country, and it's bankrupting almost every country around the world. You can't tax people enough to pay for healthcare. At the end of the day, we got to take responsibility for our health, and we got to teach other people to take responsibility for their health. So we have a gift to give, because I know most people would rather take our superfoods than to take drugs. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Most people want more energy. Everybody wants more performance. Almost everybody I know needs more income. And everybody wants to be a part of a community that is really impacting the world in a positive way, not in a negative way. So that's the gift that we all have to give. And I'm just so grateful to be on this journey with all of you. So let's grow to become the largest health and wellness company in the world, right? So I mentioned earlier, I don't want necessarily you to do the presentation I just did. You probably do the slides better than I did, because I was looking at the wrong ones here. So it just shows you don't have to be a technology savvy in order to make a lot of money. But the next person I'm going to introduce is going to show you a presentation.